So what I have here is an APS Gearbox, the new batch, and here is one of the older batches. So the first point of call, this one here, as you can see, cracked. It was not radiused at all. It's an extremely odd place for it to crack. This one was running, I think, an M180 or an M190 spring on dual sector gears on a crazy rate of fire. It was being thrashed as like a stress test. First started testing, you can note it was not radiused compared to this one. I have radiused this gearbox myself. I noticed I have not had a gearbox break since I've radiused them. I did this as a precaution. This is the new series APS gearboxes. The older ones came with bearings. The newer ones come with bushings. Just note, this is a fully built box, and this one here feels just as heavy, if not slightly heavier, than the new series gearbox. We have been told by APS that it's a higher grade mixture this time. In saying that, if you are a little cautious about the new gearboxes, I would definitely suggest radiusing them and even giving an extra Sorbro pad. It might throw your AOE off, so you might need to short stroke the piston and the sector just to correct your AOE to 12 o'clock. So what we're going to do here is basically open her up. Now here is the new gearbox, so I've had to trim that down to fit 12 to 1s because 12 to 1 gears don't quite fit. The spur doesn't quite fit unless you get rid of that edge, which I've gone ahead and already done. You can see here I've actually taken radiusing the gearbox. An extra Sorbro pad on the back of the head goes a long way on these builds. I've done this just as a precaution. We have been told that it is a higher grade metal compared to the last batch. This thing here has already copped a thrashing. It's done about 20,000 rounds, and it's not even showing any signs of stress, although like I said, I have radiused it and whatnot. They have made it slightly thicker in here compared to the original series box. So this is a shell that cracked, and it's just been sitting in the graveyard ever since. It had a crazy build in it, so it's a little bit dirty, but it will not be getting used. They have thickened it a little bit through here and behind the head here, so they have actually thickened in certain areas. The bushings are a good point. I'm a massive fan of bushings. I hate changing bearings. You've got to keep bearings greased and etc, etc, and personally I don't like going into my builds too much other than for re-greasing. The difference is this gearbox shell is definitely lighter than the older series shell. I put that down to a higher quality metal. I mean, these ones here should last a lot longer, so all the same sort of gizmos in them as before, slightly more reinforced. It's got bushings now. It's a higher grade metal with radiusing and even an extra Sorbro pad. It will go miles. It will go a long way. I know that some people might not like the thought of doing that. If you are a little cautious on these gearboxes, I suggest not being too heavy on the rate of fire. What you've got to remember is APS primarily make airsoft, and in airsoft full auto is rarely used. I know with gel ball we have to rely on a lot of full auto purely because the gels are inaccurate, so we have to put down a lot of gels to be accurate and land some kills. With airsoft that's not an issue. You can single shot people no problem. Gel ball, on the other hand, unfortunately we are restricted with that. The stress on the gearbox is tenfold. You might go through 10,000 rounds in a game. You would be hard pressed to go through 10,000 rounds in, say, 20, 30 games of airsoft. So, reliability is 30 times, 40 times greater. They're also not using water ammunition as we are. They're using plastic pellets, obviously, plastic BBs. So we do have to take that into precaution. Me personally, I use a Asta and Titan MOSFET in my builds. I get 3 round burst, 5 round burst, whatever round burst I want, semi, binary trigger. I rely on that a lot. I don't like to full auto all the time. I would suggest that if you are a little cautious on these gearboxes, try not to be too crazy on your full auto. Try bursts. If you don't have a MOSFET, just bursts here and there to land shots on people. Don't just spray down unnecessary. But radiusing and Sorbro padding, and so far no issue. I will keep testing just so you guys know that the quality is increased. I know Azrael's Armory is big on getting them to a higher standard. As APS aren't used to making gel ball blasters, they are used to airsoft. So we are trying to get these things to a higher grade for everybody. This is a big step in the right direction. Slightly more reinforced gearbox, bushings. If you want to go further, radius it, Sorbro pad it, correct your AOE, and you shouldn't really have an issue. Also remember too that once you've finished shooting for the day, switch your blaster over to semi and just release a couple shots on semi. What that will do is that'll reset your piston forward and release the pressure on the gearbox by not keeping the piston back. So don't just pull your mag out full auto just to clear the barrel and then put your blaster away, because most likely the chances of your piston being drawn all the way back is going to be pretty high. So switching over to semi, couple shots on semi after you're done clearing your barrel will reset your piston and put a lot less stress on the gearbox, so it won't have to just sit there for a week or two with a fully drawn back spring in it. The springs can be quite strong from APS. They do come out the box quite strong, so just bear that in mind, guys. But this is the new APS gearbox and it definitely is a step in the right direction. Until next time, guys, take it easy and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.